Hello and welcome to Fit to Box channel. Please like and subscribe and don't forget to jab that notifications bell for all my latest uploads. The reason I've done this video is there's a photo that's been circulated about the Tyson Fury versus Wilder 2, and now there is a photo that basically is of Tyson Fury's right glove. So I'll put it on the screen so you can see it, and I want to just go through my thoughts on it. Obviously I did a video before on the floppy glove footage, so I want to sort of give my sort of opinion to this. Let me first start by saying, and for the record, I am not a massive Tyson Fury fan. I backed Deontay Wilder to beat Fury by knockout in fight number 2. My favourite heavyweight is Anthony Joshua. I am not Fury's brother or Fury's cousin. I'm also not a racist. I'm also not the devil. I am a boxing fan, and I can understand why so many people are getting excited about these sort of conspiracies that are out there. I love conspiracies as well. Let me say at this point, please watch the whole of this video. When I did the previous video, people was commenting, having a go. They didn't even know what I'd said. They didn't even watch the video. They just straight away assumed what I was about to say. So I actually didn't want to do this video, but I want to just put some facts out there that I think have been overlooked, and so you can make up your own decision about what you think happened. It's been 4 months since Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 2. February 22nd, 2020. As I said before, I did a video that really was addressing the left glove, which looked floppy in the first fight. And obviously in that first fight there was two camps. There was the people that said nothing to see, everything was checked over, there's no way anything could have happened with the gloves, and also that there was the other side, really extreme to the point when people thought that Tyson Fury had both fists in both wrists of both fights. Okay, so there was quite a range of what people thought. I was sort of a little bit in the middle really, because I sort of said that I thought that the glove was a little loose and his hand had slipped down. I didn't think that his fist was in the wrist, but I did think that he was sort of doing this and his hand was open. So I also did an April Fool's video, which was just a little bit of a laugh, just a little bit of a light-hearted take on the whole situation, because it has, obviously with all this coronavirus going on, it has been the only thing that a lot of people have been able to get their teeth into and look into. Prior to that, I also did a video about the claims that Tyson Fury had taken out the padding of his sparring gloves for when he was sparring Nicholas Asbury. And apparently it's come out and they're saying that Ben Davidson, his trainer, had said that yeah, they took the padding out so that it would build the confidence for Tyson Fury going into the first Wilder fight. I can't believe that Ben Davidson would say to a sparring partner who was getting punched by those gloves, oh yeah, we took the padding out because we're trying to build Tyson up and obviously we don't care about you. So I can't believe that that is true. Well, this video is about the right glove in the second fight. So let's just have a look again at that picture. I've had to sort of make some notes because there's a lot of detail in here that I wanted to make sure that I got in. So let's start off with the gloves in Wilder Fury 2. Fury was wearing a custom pair of Pathan sports gloves. They were brand new, green, horsehair version. That's very important. Pathan Sports normal fight gloves are like these, okay? They're a foam padded glove, okay? Knuckle area padding, okay? Foam, not horsehair. Now the horsehair gloves that he was using were very similar to Everlast MX gloves. Everlast MX gloves have hardly got any horsehair in. Yeah, they've got the stipulated 10 ounce, but basically they're really floppy gloves. They look like the wind has been taken out of them. Look like they got no padding in even before you put them on. They were banned by the British Board of Boxing Control as a glove that they didn't feel was suitable for fights. They were also the glove Mayweather and his team refused for Maidana to wear against Mayweather, because again, they didn't feel that there was enough padding in there for them to be used. So that's Everlast MX. As I say, these Pathan Sport gloves, which were horsehair, were basically the same as Everlast MX. That is very important. Those type of gloves are considered to be puncher's gloves. A foam padded glove, okay, if a boxer is wearing the foam padded glove, it's often because they're trying to protect their own hands. They are not trying to protect or be fair to their opponent's face. Let's get that right. They are wearing more foam gloves because they're trying to protect perhaps damaged hands. So like Amir Khan or Floyd Mayweather would wear orthopedic foam that was in gloves, not horsehair. Fight gloves are 8 ounce, 10 ounce or 10 ounce XL. Tyson Fury has massive hands. So they would have been Pathan Sport 10 ounce XL. Pathan Sports also do sparring gloves. Okay, so I'll put a picture up of Vladimir Klitschko in his sparring gloves. Now, there's no way that you can say that those sparring gloves, which would have been 16 ounce or 18 ounce, can be compared to the horsehair 10 ounce fight gloves he was wearing. The only thing that is the same is the fact they've got Pathan Sports on them. Okay, it's not just the fact that they're a different colour, they're a totally different size glove. Let me show you a 10 ounce. This is a winning pair of 16 ounce there, but look at the difference between a 10 ounce fight glove and a 16 ounce padded training glove. There's a massive difference. Pathan Sports training gloves are even bigger and more padded than that. Okay, so that's what Klitschko would have been using in his training. Pathan Sports fight gloves, these ones, these are a 10XL actually. These are the padded version, so you can see there's padding in there, and they'll be a good protective glove for the boxer. The gloves that are used in boxing are sanctioned by the commissions due for the fights. Okay, so the gloves in that fight, they would have been sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. These are also not the same gloves. The horsehair gloves, the Pathan Sport, the green ones, are not the same gloves as Fury wore against Klitschko. Again, they both would have been wearing something more like this. They weren't wearing horsehair gloves. So you can't even say that that glove is the same as the glove that Fury was wearing. Just because it's got Pathan Sports on the back doesn't mean it's the same glove. You know, I saw it in one video and it says there was the same glove, just different colours. That's just not true. Not when you know boxing gloves. So let's go through the procedure. In the last video that I did, people said, oh, it takes a long time to get to the points. But I feel it's important to go through it step by step, because people are getting really sort of bent out of shape, and I'm trying to give you the facts, okay? I'm not bothered. If Wilder had won, happy days. If Fury wins, happy days. I'm not bothered. I want to see the fight number 3, to be fair, but I'll be a neutral. So, procedure. There is a gloves meeting. Wilder and Fury will try on and pick the gloves for their fight, okay? So they will be there together. Not only will they see the gloves that they're going to use, they will be able to see and try on, if they want to, the opposition's gloves. These are any gloves that go for a fight. They are pre-sanctioned gloves. So they've already been sanctioned by the governing body before they're actually on the table and they're picking. They don't just rock up with like some old gloves. It just doesn't work like that. They also get to see and inspect both gloves. They get 2 pairs, okay? They get one that they're going to use, and they pick a second pair just in case something happens to the first pair, i.e. a stitch breaks or there's a bit of a split. So there's always 2 pairs. So Wilder will have picked a number 1 pair and a number 2 pair. Fury will have picked a number 1 pair and a number 2 pair. Both camps would have been happy with the selection of the gloves at that table. Now, the next time that those gloves are seen, they're not like kept by the boxers so they can sort of, do whatever they want with them. Those gloves are put in bags and they're sealed and they're taken away by the actual commission. So the fighters do not see those gloves again until the commission come in into the dressing room to give them the gloves to wear, to put on. So they'll be brought in by a Nevada State inspector. He is there to oversee the whole thing, okay? Just nip in, have a look, and then go. Once he's there with the gloves, he keeps the gloves under his sort of watchful eye the whole time, okay? He doesn't get to sleep in the dressing room. He's watching. That is his job. A member of Wilder's team would also come into the dressing room, and they would oversee the hand wrapping process and also the gloves going on. They will see Fury's hands being wrapped with tape and gauze by Stitch Duran. Now, Stitch Duran is massively respected in the sport of boxing. You know, no one is questioning Stitch Duran and his hand wrapping, as far as I can see. You know, to think that something was put in his gloves or something was dodgy with the hand wraps, that's just not the case. It cannot be. Stitch Duran is a massively, massively respected guy. The gloves are then put on. The wrists are then taped up. The wrists are normally then signed. The Nevada athletic inspector, he stays with Fury then. He walks in on the ring walk with Fury to the ring. Once Fury is in the ring, the Nevada State Commissioner, the inspector, is still in his corner. He stays there and oversees anything that happens in between the rounds. Once Tyson Fury is in the actual ring, the referee, Kenny Bayliss, went across and he checks the gloves. What's he checking for? He's checking for the knuckle area. He's checking for the thumbs that have still got the attachments on. He's checking that the tape's not been messed with. He's checking perhaps the laces, that there's no visible laces at the front. Just basically that the gloves are in a condition that they can be used in the fight. Okay, so the gloves are inspected by Kenny Bayliss, as I say. Referee of over 790 fights. 790 fights. This is a massively, massively experienced referee. As I say, he would do his checks as well. So the gloves have been checked before in the gloves meeting. They've been checked by not only Wilder's team but also the inspector in the dressing room. The inspector has stayed with Tyson Fury the whole time, and then even after the ring walk, he gets into the ring and the referee then checks the gloves. Okay, so you can see this is pretty watertight to stop glove tampering happening. After the fight, presumably the WBC have kept the gloves. Hopefully they have, because all of this could be put to bed, because I could just come forward and say, look, there's nothing wrong with these gloves and show. If they didn't, I would ask, where did those gloves go? In the ring though, Kenny Bayliss, that experienced referee of 790 fights, so close to the action, if he heard that the punches sounded different, or he was seeing a reaction that was different to what he normally sees, he would call it out straight away. He's literally 2 yards or 1 yard away from the action. It would have been obvious to him. It also would have been obvious to Wilder's corner team. They would have called it out as well. Let's talk about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is 6'9". He was weighing 273 pounds. That is 123 kilograms. 19 stone 3. He has massive hands. The man is a giant. I'm 6'4" and about 16 stone. Tyson Fury is 6'9". He is 19 stone. He has huge hands. He will struggle to get his hands into a 10-ounce fight glove. He might not be the knockout expert that Mike Tyson was, but he's still a massive guy. Wilder, 6'7", 231 pounds, that's 104 kilos. He's about 16 stone 3. So he's taller than me by 3 inches, but he's about the same weight as me. So he was outweighed by 42 pounds. That is 3 stones. In boxing, that is massive. In fact, I watched the bit after where Tyson Fury is talking to his dad, and he almost says as much to his dad to say, look, you know, he was a lot smaller than me. I really should be beating somebody that many stones lighter than himself. They say that Tyson Fury can't punch. He's not known as a puncher. But prior to that second fight, he'd had 30 fights. He'd won 20 of them by KO. So he can punch, and he's a massive guy. Okay, let's address the picture. Now, first of all, I don't know if the picture is real or whether it is photoshopped. I know that it has taken a long time for this one particular picture to come out. It's been months. And the gloves of Tyson Fury must have been the most inspected gloves on footage and photos of all time. There's been millions and millions of people having a look at it and seeing and making a judgment on it. The other photos do appear to sort of show a bit of a dent in the glove, and I'll put those on the screen as well. Now, on other pictures, it appears that the gloves are normal. Okay, so I would expect if there was no padding in there, there'd be loads and loads of photos of no padding in the knuckle. You would catch out so easily. So if we accept that the photo is real, then I think that it is captured on a fraction of a second. As it's just hit Deontay Wilder, it's that fraction of a second that photo is took. And then after that, the glove obviously is not going to look like that. He's just landed 19 stones worth of weight on a human face. Okay, and the gloves, as I've said, have got horsehair, very little padding in. It's made that impact, and there is your photo. Let me show you. So on here, these are the foam gloves. You can see like that, Path and Sport foam gloves. These gloves here, these have got still padding in, but these have got less foam in. So these are not even horsehair. Okay, look at that. Already you can see there is a big difference. I'm not pressing that any more than that one. There's a big difference in that there. If I go, even with these are not horsehair, remember, these are just thinner padding. I'll put these gloves on and I hit them a couple of times. Okay, look how flat that glove has gone. There, you can see a dent in that glove, okay, just by the fact that I've hit it with my hands 2 or 3 times. That hasn't been punching Deontay Wilder in the face round after round, and look at the dent. So that's what you're seeing. Put this one on as well, okay. Okay, even that glove you can see that's got padding in, and even that glove you can see that bevel there, okay. So that is what you can see on the photos. That particular photo, I think it's like a millisecond. It hits, it looks like you can see his knuckles, but that is like almost like a millisecond. A second after, it probably looked totally different. It certainly didn't look like that in any other photos that I've seen, and it certainly didn't look like that for the rest of the footage that you watch either. Okay, so to say that the padding has been removed, I just can't see that. One, it can't happen because everyone's looking at the gloves. And two, you know, impossible in my eyes that they could have got away with that. So 10-ounce fight gloves, XL, are small for his hands as well. I've got smaller hands compared to him. His hands would be like shovels. In a horsehair padded glove, a Path and Sports gloves. The gloves do not look like that one particular picture all of the time, which would be the case if there was no padding in there. Okay, let's go on to excuses. For months, lots of people believed that Tyson Fury had his fists in the wrists of the glove. Okay, so we're talking, this is what we're talking. That was what was said. Fists in the wrists of the glove. Okay, that was what was said. So now that's totally been abandoned. Apparently now he has got his fist in the glove in the right hand and the left hand, but they've took the padding out. Okay. With the fist in the wrist, it was impossible anyway, because he was grabbing his shorts, he was closing and opening his fist. You can't do that if your fist is in the wrist of a glove. It's just impossible. Unless you've got a fist where you've got your knuckles there, and then you've got an extra set of fingers that go in the top of the glove. So maybe an alien that we've never seen could do that, but certainly not Tyson Fury. He was like that in my opinion. Okay, so now to claim that his right fist in the second fight wasn't in the wrist after all, and he's now in the proper fist position, is quite a comeback from the amount of people that have been saying that it's definitely in the fist of the wrist. It can't be in 2 positions. Okay. So they're saying it's either he's removed the padding or he's manipulated the padding away from the actual knuckle. I've also heard that some people think that there's something in his glove. Again, you know, how can they get something with so close scrutinising in the dressing room? How do you get something in the glove? Okay, plaster of Paris on the wraps is nonsense. Stitch Duran, he's not going to allow that to happen. Again, Wilder's team looking, the inspector looking, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so removing of the padding, how? Manipulating the padding out the way, how? Something in his glove, how? Plaster of Paris on his wraps, how? Okay, all these things just cannot be done under that scrutiny. Then, of course, he was on steroids. Okay, so Fury passed VADA drugs test, as did Wilder. So again, there's no proof to say that he was on steroids. He was drugged by a member of his own team. Unless it come through with some proof to say that that was happening, you know, what can we say? We can't say that that is the case. If Wilder thinks that, he needs to come forward with some evidence to say this is what happened. Okay, and then of course his costume weighed 40 pounds and that weighed him down. That was his initial sort of explanation to why he was feeling so groggy. Apparently he had it on for 10 to 15 minutes before he walked out. I would say sack the member of your team that allowed you to wear that heavy costume, because that for me is ridiculous. Someone else that I would have sacked is the person that has allowed Tyson Fury to wear horsehair gloves. If there's a problem with gloves and you feel that something untoward is going to happen, why would you let him in horsehair gloves where there's hardly any padding? That member of the team needs to be sacked as well. Mayweather and his team refused to let Maidana wear the same gloves. Also, just some other things to throw into the mix. Mike Tyson in a documentary said that he liked to break the gloves down, pushing his knuckles into the leather at the back of the glove so he could feel his knuckles against the leather. So Mike Tyson was saying it. Okay, so, you know, that sort of trying to manipulate the glove. Vitaly Klitschko said a similar thing in the Klitschko documentary. Amir Khan questioned Canelo Alvarez's gloves. He was wearing Everlast MX, horsehair gloves, hardly any padding. Amir Khan said it felt like he was being hit by a baseball bat. Okay, so why doesn't Amir Khan wear Everlast MX? As I said before, you know, if a fighter's hands need more protecting because they will break, they're not able to wear that type of glove. They have to go for a more padded glove. What I said before, if I was on Wilder's team, I'd be saying there's no way that I'm letting him fight my fighter with Everlast MX or Pathan Sports horsehair gloves. I would have just said no. He's got to have some more padded gloves. That is what Vladimir Klitschko did when he fought Tyson Fury. If you look at their gloves, they actually look massive fight gloves on both of them. They're big and they're padded and you can see it. Different gloves. Okay, so since then Wilder has been very quiet. Initially he blamed the costume. He did state that there was something wrong with his team. He hasn't really come out with the full details. The only footage I've really seen of him was he was twerking, which I saw on Instagram. Now, someone else said that Tyson Fury is guilty because nobody's heard anything from him. He's lying low. He doesn't want the truth to come out. Tyson Fury has been on Instagram every single morning during lockdown doing like fitness exercise routines. He's also been interviewed loads. He's not been laying low at all. He has been speaking a lot more than Wilder. The bottom line, and this is the uncomfortable truth, the bottom line is Wilder got beat by a much heavier man, a much bigger man, a much better fighter. He was exposed, he was put onto the back foot, he's not used to doing that, and to add on top of that, they allowed Tyson Fury to wear a pair of gloves that had, even as new, hardly any padding in. Just a little bit of horsehair. Okay, so that for me is the truth. You can look at one picture that was taken on one millisecond, and you can say, oh, you can clearly see his knuckles. But at that point, he has just leathered Wilder's face with 19 stones worth of power and a thin layer of horsehair padding. Of course it's going to have some impact on the glove. His hand's in there, it's wrapped. Again, you know, in the first video I got killed in the comments section. I'm probably going to get killed in the comments section again here. But the bottom line is, you cannot turn around and say that a glove is Paffen Sport glove, and that Paffen Sport that is 16 ounce is the same as the Paffen gloves that was used when he fought Klitschko. And those gloves that were padded are the same gloves that he wore against Wilder. They wasn't the same gloves. They've got the same logo on, and that is all. You can't turn around and say that all Paffen Sport gloves are exactly the same. Take a look at Paffen Sport's website. They've got a multitude of different gloves, different padding and different sizes. Now, I just needed to point that out, to put here some facts, you know, just inject some facts into this, because it is easy to just run off, create this, do videos, people believe in them, they're doing their own videos, more people creating from one photo, from 1 millisecond. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit to Box channel, and I shall speak to you soon.